Hi guys, Michael here, and today we'll be talking about a lot of what I consider the bad or wrong questions that I get asked most often. If you ever read the book Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, they talk about the concept of often the answer to questions is easy, but the hardest part is knowing the right questions to ask. And in this case, it's no different. Often the question a client will ask me will reveal more about the client's actual underlying problems and what needs to be addressed than just a simple solution to the surface level question that they did ask. For example, one of the questions I get asked most often is, how do I know if a person likes me? Now, you'd think, oh Michael, you're a conversation coach. Of course this is a common question. And yes, knowing how to read another person's body language and understand how well the conversation is progressing and getting feedback, that is really important points to address and understand. However, the real reason that this question I'm getting asked the most often is because the person is afraid of rejection. They want to know what can they see and then feel almost an 100% certainty that they won't be rejected before they're willing to take a chance and engage or take a chance and show their honest intentions and interests. And the thing is, if you have this type of philosophy, you're going to miss almost 100% of the opportunities that present itself to you in life. Because not being willing to take the first step without being guaranteed that you're going to be successful, that's just a formula for defeat, not success. People with this concern actually have the underlying fear of scarcity, and this is the primary problem that needs to be addressed. The catch-22 is that if you're willing to show that you're willing to be a little bit vulnerable and strong and confident enough to deal with any repercussions to your actions, then that confidence that you're showing is going to make the probability of the interaction being successful so much higher. So by being willing to take action and show that you're comfortable with any of the outcomes that may result with it and you can deal with it, that's going to lead to success. Not taking any action at all unless you're 100% sure that it's going to be a positive result is not going to lead to success. Now, I made a whole nother video on the concept of what is positive and negative vulnerability, and I would recommend you check that out after this video just to clarify in your mind what I'm talking about. Instead of asking the question, how can I know if this person likes me? Better question to ask is, how can I best show interest in this person? An even better question to ask is, how do I become a person who is not afraid of rejection? How do I become a person who has the confidence to assertively show interest and not be emotionally dependent on the outcome? If you've seen the movie The Matrix, Neo asked Morpheus at one point, so I'll be able to dodge bullets? Meaning I'll be able to avoid rejection in the future? And this is ridiculous. You're never going to be able to fully avoid rejection. But what Morpheus' response is, no, in the future you won't have to. But you can get to the point where those rejections are not going to matter to you. Another question I get asked a lot is, how do I improve my body language? How do I fix my body language? And again, this is an important thing to address as a communication coach. But the people never then think of the underlying reason that they're showing bad body language to begin with. They should be asking, what is the internal emotions and thoughts in my mind that are making me exhibit bad body language? Why am I sitting there all closed up and closed off? Why can't I look people in the eye? Why am I afraid to express myself? Why am I afraid to have attention on me? These are the real underlying questions that need to be addressed. I don't think just teaching a person to stand up straight and not cross their arms is going to fix all their problems. Instead, you got to address the real reasons why they're doing these things to begin with. And when these real underlying beliefs and thoughts are corrected, then not only body language fixes itself, but so does many other things. Another question that I get, and I also particularly don't like, is the question, how do I get a girlfriend? How do I get a boyfriend? How do I get more friends? And the place that this question is often coming from is very bad. It's coming from the mentality that as soon as I get this one thing, then I'll be all set. As soon as I get my precious, I'll have everything I need. What are the minimum amount of steps that I have to take to get this one thing? And then once I get it, forget about improving my social skills anymore. Forget about making me a more well-rounded person. Forget about going out and still socializing. I'll finally just have this one thing and I'll have everything I've ever wanted. And anyone with this type of mentality, anything they get is not going to stay with them long. Instead, you should be asking the questions, how do I become a person with options? How do I become a person that people want to spend time with? How do I continuously improve my social skills so my life just gets better and better and more people want to be a part of it? Another question that I often get that I don't like is the question, well, what do I say? This is like the most open-ended question in the world. Like saying one certain magic phrase is always going to work in every situation. What this really reveals is a problem of you thinking, why is it that what I think I have to say is not good enough for another person? This gets closer to the core reason of where this issue is coming from. And instead you should be asking the question, how do I become a person who can naturally not run out of things to say? Or a person who does not worry about what other people think of me when I speak honestly? And the final question that I'm going to discuss that I really don't like getting is the question, oh, well, what do I text a person so that they want to meet up with me? There's just so much wrong to this question. The real question you should be asking is, how can I have such a good initial interaction so that the other person is trying to contact me to meet up with them? Like, honestly, even just talking to a person on the phone and not texting them is way, way better. The majority of communication that we do is nonverbal, and it really cannot be communicated through the medium of text. Now, I'm becoming an old man now, and I'm just very biased against trying to meet people online, but I know in the new generation, people are even afraid to talk to another person on the phone, and almost everything nowadays is done through text, where people are trying to sneak in or, I guess, slide into the DMs on Instagram or whatever that bullshit is. And my thought is just the level of efficiency and the quicker payoff that you get from doing anything in person is just so much higher than just being one of like thousands of other people on a dating app where you're just trying to get through the algorithm, like going for a job interview. Like when you go through a job interview, of course the computer algorithm filters everyone before you even get to the interview phase. But then once you get to the interview phase, you still have to do well in the interview, right? Like, don't you wish you could just skip all that bullshit to begin with, all that online filling out applications and formatting stuff, and just skip right to the interview? Because in the end, that's going to be the most deciding factor. So when it comes to like dating and meeting people in general, not just for a job interview, the in-person interaction is still going to be the defining factor. So you go through all this crap online just so the person finally meets you in person. You've never worked on the social skills, so when you finally get to that face-to-face interaction, it goes nowhere, and everything was just been a waste of time. It's so much easier to differentiate yourself when you're actually holding a conversation in person. Like the ROI of just learning in-person social skills is going to trump all the time you're going to be spending swiping and texting. And in the end, the general communication structure that you would use in person, this is going to translate subtly into your texting, into your phone calls, into your emails. So it's much better to focus on the core issues, the core problems you have communicating, rather than going all the way up to the most superficial level, which is texting. Now, if you're interested in improving your social skills specifically for dating, then I recommend you check out my book. And if you're interested in just improving them more in general for all situations, then I created the Enhanced EQ online video course. Both of these things can be found linked to in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Till next time, ciao.